What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Jav here, one of your hosts from the Real Fan Review. And today with me, I got my man in the chair, Al.
How's it going, everybody?
We got my brother, your brother, B. Deuces. No words this time. All right. And the sign off is going to be little a wave to the camera. Nice.
Just a walk off.
Oh my God. And fellas, this week we got a couple of topics, nothing too crazy, but it's still going to be crazy. We got the Marvel shakeup of all the movies and what's going on with the Black Widow in the news. We're also going to review today the Captain. No, I'm sorry, the Falcon, because he will be the Captain. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 2, the Star-Spangled Man. Oh my goodness, what an amazing show! And if we have some time, we'll get you guys into our what is it, a quintrology, a
Quadrilogy?
quadrilogy for what was it?
No idea.
The four acts of
number
Godzilla.
4.
For Godzilla, because Godzilla versus Kong is coming out this Wednesday on HBO Max, event of the week. But first, let's get right into the news of this past week. They're the big news, which is Marvel shaking it up, putting Black Widow to July. But not only pulling it to July 9th, we're also going to get it on that premiere access if you want. So you have the option. You can go to the theaters in the summer, or you can go at your own leisure at home and put it on and watch it there. Premiere access, of course, as you guys know, you're going to pay an additional $30. I don't think they're going to up that or decrease it, so it'll be 30. So let's just go around the table really quick. B, are you paying that extra $30, or are you going to the theaters to watch it for 20?
Now that it's a ways away, I'll make the call as we get closer. Right now, I'm saying I'm paying the $30 and watching it at home.
Mhm.
But if things look better, and I know renting a theater out is a possibility. You could rent a theater out to see it. I think that'd be cool for us. If things are looking good, but it's still 3 months away, and I'm a little scared about 3 months. I don't know about that going to the theater call, unless it's just kind of us renting out a theater. But right now I'm saying I'm watching it at home.
All right. Al, how about yourself, Ben? What's your call on that, man? 30 other plus?
Yeah, no, I think I'm the same thing. I think this is going to be the first test where I have to give in and go with that premium access on Disney Plus and watch it there, because I think by then I should be with my 2 shots, but not everybody I know will. So I'm still going to be concerned of what I might be bringing around them. So watch it at home, pause it, rewind it if I need to.
Yeah, I hear you, brother. Listen, I know my answer's already given to me. I'm watching it at home on July 10th, because I come home July 9th at night from a trip going away with the family. So I'm gonna definitely have to see that the second I land. I'm going to watch that. So I'll be watching at home. So it's going to be a little bit downer for me. It's going to be the first Marvel movie that comes out that I'm going to watch at home. But I got to tell you, watching WandaVision and watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and the way it looks on the TV and the way it's playing out, I don't think I'm going to mind much, man. Now, with that shakeup of the Black Widow being moved to July 9th, that means it moves some of the other movies away, and I have it over here where Shang-Chi's now movies to September 3rd. We have the Eternals moving to November 5th. And then Spider-Man No Way Home coming out on the 17th of December. So pretty much everything is every 2 months away. And then even after No Way Home, I believe Thor Love and Thunder comes out, and then Doctor Strange Part 2 comes out after that, the Multiverse of Madness. So any thoughts on that schedule, you guys? Are you okay with seeing a new Marvel entity every 2 months on the theaters? What about you, Al?
With me, you know what? If this is going to be the last move, because I think Black Widow was kind of what was tying everything up and putting everything into such a flux. So given that that's now got a solid date and they've committed to releasing it both streaming and in theaters, I think everything is set, and I think we have our timetable now as to when movies will actually be released. So
Mhm.
I think it was, a good move. It was a safe move. It was a move they finally had to make. I mean, they dragged their feet with making it. So
Right.
now that it's done, at least now we know when our movies are coming, and I don't think there'll be any more shakeups after this.
Yeah, man. And how about yourself? Be anything that you're either looking forward to, or are you minding this 2 month schedule? Every 2 months a new Marvel movie?
I think they're a bunch of bastards. I'm just saying, if they made this plan to release this thing on home video, I don't know why they couldn't keep the May date. That's all I'm saying. Keep the May date. You know what? I'm fine with everything else coming out like September, November, because that feels like Marvel to me. The Spider-Man in December seems a little off to me with timing, but like
Right.
that's a Christmas gift. I'll take it, you know. But like I feel like Black Widow can come out next month. Like I'm a little upset about the July thing.
Right.
Uh, because from what I've heard and what I can tell, the movie has been done,
Oh yeah.
and
Hmm.
you know, I don't know what's the kind of weight. I don't work as an engineer IT, so I don't know what the process of getting something to be on home video is, for that
Mhm.
on-demand thing and setting that up for millions of profiles. I don't know what that looks like, but I don't know why that just can't come out May 7th.
Yeah, I think they're fighting for more ticket sales. I think they're hoping that movie theaters open up more capacity. I think right now we're still limited to the amount of people who can go to a theater at a separate time,
Yeah.
and it's just they're just looking to push it back as far as they can without hurting their schedule for their movies to come out in a certain order. Because I'm sure there's going to probably be something that leads to something else in that movie. So,
Yeah.
I mean, look,
Plus, it
I
was a
can't knock.
backtrack.
Yeah.
Because remember, when they did that Disney Plus call, they said in theaters only. So they were trying to stay firm to
Hmm.
in theaters only. So now, I think this is a little bit of a backtrack. So this must have been a compromise with the theaters to say we'll see if more people are vaccinated, so that
Hmm.
more people go to you than stream it.
Right, because if you figure if you watch it at home, it's going to cost you $30, but if you go to the theaters, you're going to be paying about $20 or less than $20 to see it. So more likely than
Yeah.
not, if it's safe to go to the theaters, people are going to want to go to the theaters to save some money. But most of us here, we all have these HD TVs, 4K, excuse me, 4K TVs and stuff. So we'll probably watch it at home. But once it comes out, of course, we'll let you know what we think. We'll review it, talk about it, and all the different things that come out about it to see what comes of the next couple of movies to go. So yeah, that's the news for this week. And also the other big news this week is that we do have Godzilla versus Kong coming out on HBO Max. I know for sure I'm checking it out. I'm pretty sure the fellas you're
Mhm.
checking it out too.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
got nothing else to do on a Wednesday.
Yeah, and HBO Max was smart. They got all three of the ones before it already in queue. So I'll probably be checking out Godzilla tomorrow, then Kong Island, and Godzilla versus the monsters or whatever it's called. I forget,
Yeah,
and
King of the
then
Monsters.
catch that one, King of the Monsters. Yeah.
Yeah, I plan on doing the same thing. I think tonight I'll probably watch the first Godzilla from 2014. Maybe tomorrow watch the Kong Skull Island, and then work my way down to the Godzilla versus Kong because I really don't remember much of it. But we'll see if we talk about that a little bit later on there today. Now
Yeah.
let's get right into the big deal of the week, which was the Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode number 2, called the Star-Spangled Man. And I got to tell you guys, just off the jump, this is probably one of the most insane episodes I've seen in the MCU. It was just so good from beginning to end. Starting with the fake fake Steve there. But I got to tell you,
Yeah.
man, fake Steve had me feeling for him in the beginning, but as as we got through the episode, he's an asshole. Yeah,
He's an
so
Yeah.
asshole.
he's an asshole. So just overall thoughts, really quick, man. Al, what was your thoughts on the whole show there for this week?
Yeah. Yeah. Same thing. At first, the way they introduced him, I thought they were going to have us sympathize with him and kind of be on his side. And then as they put him on screen more and had him be, I guess, the way his character is going to be, like, I think he's going to be a good guy, but borderline like an anti-hero type
Hmm.
situation where you don't really want to root for him, but you have to because he's a good guy.
Right.
So, because everything about him, I mean, he kept saying he didn't want to replace Steve, he didn't want to replace Steve, but everything he did was what Steve did, like even down to his line of "Don't get in my way." So
Yeah.
it's like it's like you're saying one thing, but your actions are another. And then that he uses a gun. I don't know. I want to see how they play it out. But his first impression, it's like I'm not sure where they're going. Like also, they don't say he has the serum, but a lot of what he was able to do seemed like he did have the serum.
Mhm.
So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And Brandon, how about you, man? What was your thoughts on the episode?
I thought it was interesting, from the opposite case. Like, I I I really liked how they introduced John Walker, and gave that backstory to him, because
Mhm.
it was the same thing. Like, it was like, oh, like, in the comics he was an asshole, kind of a villain,
Right.
before he became Captain America, U.S. agent. So I was kind of like, oh, like, this is a different take. This is cool. But
Mm.
I love the relationship building between Buck and Falcon, just because, like, we talk about this a lot. We didn't get them together so much in the movies. They had a little banter back and forth, but not
Right.
enough to, like, you can see a relationship building. Here, they jump right into that. Right into, right at Bucky meeting with Sam and just being pissed off. And that just carrying throughout the entire episode with one-liners, actions, and everything like that. And I actually, it was my I think my favorite relation through the whole episode was just
Mhm.
how Bucky reacted to John Walker not only holding the shield but being in the outfit, in the uniform.
Yeah.
Just instantly pissed seeing it, and just you could see how,
Seething.
he was, yeah, you could see how, like, angry he was just to see it there, in front of
Yeah.
him, and this guy talking to him as if he was Steve, like, especially when they were
Yeah.
in the Jeep, and he's like, I'm not trying to replace Steve, blah 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 blah. He goes, but it would be great if I had Steve's partners on my side. And
Steve's
Falcon's like,
wingman.
Steve's
Yeah,
wingman,
called him
yeah.
his wingman.
And then Falcon's like, he goes, always comes back to that line.
What's that last line, man? Yeah, man. Like I said, I thought the episode was incredible, and the way they started it off. Al kind of hit us off on that one there, which is they gave us the backstory for John Walker there, and it just seemed like at first they're like, listen, we all know everyone in the MCU was cursing his ass out at the end of last week's episode. Everybody was like, "What an asshole!" He just smiled at the camera and winked, and we were like, "Asshole."
Hey,
And
fuck that guy.
exactly, for no reason whatsoever, just because he had the cap shield and he was walking around acting like Captain. But I thought that's what they were going for at first, because he sits down, he's talking to his wife, I believe, and he's saying, like, everybody's looking at me to be this, but I just want to do the job. They're making me do this. We meet his partner Hoskins, which ends up being his name is Battlestar, and even that conversation between the two of them was like interesting, and I was like, oh shoot, maybe he's not a jerk. Wrong. Even him pretending to be humble when he's being interviewed by the Good Morning America tie-in there from Disney with ABC. He's being humble, but yet he's pointing to the crowd for you. No, it's not me, it's you. Like, it's just so crazy. But then you hear the backstory, which is that he was a 3-star, not a 3-star. What is it that he
Medal
was?
of Honor.
He received the Medal of Honor 3 times.
Yeah, the middle 3 honors,
Yeah.
middle of the honors, and then also his body got studied at MIT, and he came up good in strength. He came up good in endurance and all this stuff like that. And there's even a video of him tossing around the shield. And B, I'll go to you first on this, because kind of like, again, Al kind of hinted at this. There's no set thing saying that he got the super soldier serum. But it does seem something's up, kid. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't think so yet. I think he's gonna get it. I think as a normal guy, he's just, we've had some people in the universe who can fight really well and are strong without being, super. And I honestly, I didn't think he was so super. I think he just used the shield really well in his fight. Like, he didn't do any better than Bucky, or a Falcon, who both got their asses whooped. So he just did better by throwing the shield and using it. But I didn't think he fared very well until he used the gun,
Yeah.
So I think he may end up getting a serum later, but I don't think he has it yet.
Gotcha.
Mm.
Now, Al, for me personally, I'm gonna tell you my truth on this is that I thought in order to capture the shield that way, you had to have some kind of super strength because the way that thing hits things and bounces back all around, it's way too fast, bro.
Yeah, yeah, kid. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. The way he was throwing it to the point where like it was reflecting and bouncing off all those trees, and then he just catching it like nothing, and then flinging it. I was like nothing against it, like what I guess they're trying to say about him, like. But just to your point, like I always thought one of the things that made Captain America able to handle that shield because of how strong that metal was.
Right.
You have something like that that could take down a tree, everything that it was able to do, and it doesn't not come back. It doesn't do anything. He's able to catch it in his arm like nothing. And meanwhile, he's throwing it and it's knocking the guy that it hit down and coming back with enough force to still return to where he threw it.
Yeah.
I mean, they can say, "Oh, his body was being researched all they want." He still has to have. There has to be something there, and I can
Right.
understand. Okay, fine, they didn't say it to the public, but like they never. There was not even a scene for us to show that he had that. There was no comment, a private comment, a side dialogue that alluded to him having that, other than just maybe he's supposedly that good.
Right.
And I'm surprised they picked somebody like him because even his partner said you can't punch your way out of everything. So really, that's the kind of guy that you pick to be Captain America. So I
Yeah.
hope they're not going to get political with that, and in terms of making it seem like it's one where because we have enough of that already, and it
Right.
looks like they're touching on enough other topics. I hope they don't get too heavy-handed with what they're trying to tap onto. But
Right.
he has to have something, man. I mean, especially the fact that the whole show is about this serum going around.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I'm just assuming he has it. Maybe I'll be wrong. And like I said, I'm not committing to anything.
Yeah.
I learned my lesson already. Just going based on what I saw in the episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I do find it kind of crazy that they would give this guy Captain America's shield and then just he's a normal guy that just knows how to do all this stuff. To me, there's got to be something more at play, but maybe I'm wrong on that one. But I just thought you had to be super to catch that shield like that and wield it. Because then, if that's the case, then anybody who gets that shield could do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I don't know. It's interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing more on that. But I did sympathize with him trying to do the right thing. I love Bucky's face when he says that he feels like Captain America was his brother. I thought that was pretty interesting there. And then we lead into, we see Falcon coming into the base to go to Germany, and he meets up with Bucky. And one of the first things Bucky says to him, "Why'd you give up the shield, Sam?" He's like, "Hi to you too, man." And we get to what we wanted in the kind of the first episode was that for them to link up, for them to be together, and start the show off. Because that first episode, I'm like, there's only 6 episodes. If they haven't met yet, what's going on? But sure enough, the second episode right away, just right there, we meet the both of them. They have their banter back and forth, the staring issues and things like that. And you see how they start off on this mission to Germany, and I found it very, very cool to see what they were doing together, working together. I like the staring issues. I like the jokes between them. You can't call me Buck, you know. But what's funny is like I remember them saying that they gave the Winter Soldier the serum also. I just don't think that in any of the movies we really saw it to that effect, right? Which is why I thought like, the reason why I thought that you had to be super strong to catch it because I think Bucky in the Winter Soldier was the only person who ever caught the shield when it was thrown
Yeah.
at him.
Yeah,
So
they made it a big scene. Yeah.
exact. So I thought that's why it was a big deal. But this is the first time, okay, if I'm wrong, that I saw Bucky running like how Captain America and Black Panther ran in Wakanda when he was going after the two trucks that were working out of the warehouse.
Well, I think he ran like that when Black Panther was chasing him at first before he grabbed the bike.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they were booking it.
Yeah.
They were
right before he grabbed the bike.
Oh my
But to
God.
your point about Bucky with the shield, when they fought on top of the truck, he caught the shield with his regular hand this time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We'll see. I guess that's what I'm saying. We'll see what they say. It could just be that you just got to be a hero. Who knows?
Then he took
But
it back from Bucky's hands. That was fucked up.
and then he
That
was
was
pissed.
took
Like
it out
when
of
the
his
guys.
hands.
So crazy, man. But
Mine.
yeah, mine. Brandon, what'd you think of the whole like Germany scene, including like Bucky first failing to land, jumping out of the plane?
I was interested to see how they would work together too. I thought it was cool how they interacted in the warehouse because Bucky, just being used to being the assassin, was just like, well, I see these two guys, I'm gonna go take them out. I'm super strong, I'm super fast. And then Falcon's like, well, hold on. We don't know how many people are here. Give it a second. He's like, I'll just run. I got this. Like it's interesting to see the dynamic between like I guess I want to call the Falcon a soldier and then the assassin. Because as much as Bucky is a soldier and was trained a soldier, he was developed into an assassin. Take
Right.
him out. So even like we saw in the first scene of the show when he took out the whole crew of people and then the student, like to him it was just whoever I see, I'm taking you out. So to see the assassin and the soldier work together, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, man, really
Yeah.
cool stuff, man. And
And,
he's how
and,
many do you see now? How many do you see now?
No, and
How many?
Oh,
and the funny thing with that too, I thought it was a interesting play because it like they flipped their roles. Because remember, in the plane, Bucky was pissed because Falcon didn't have a plan. He just jumped out the plane, and then when they get to the warehouse, Falcon is the one saying, hold on, let's scout this out, let's get the
right.
layout," and Bucky's the one just trying to run in like with no plan.
Mm.
So I thought that in a matter of seconds, the way they flipped it was cool. It's funny, but it was
Mhm.
interesting to see like how you just got pissed because there was no plan. Now you just running at the first guy you see.
Absolutely, man. And then we get that fight on top of the truck there, which is pretty cool, man. I mean, reminiscent of Age of Ultron with Cap fighting Ultron on top of the truck, but this is a little bit more. I mean, we got like I think it was three people on top of the I think actually it was like two and two on each truck. Then we had
Yeah.
the leader of the Flag Smashers, Kylie, on top of the truck there, versing Falcon and the Winter Soldier up there. And one of the scenes that we seen in the commercials was, of course, Falcon getting I'm sorry, Bucky losing the fight a little bit, falling off the truck, and Falcon going up to that little girl kicked your ass. Oh man, so good stuff, man. But
Yeah,
then you get John Walker's Captain America in there, plus Battlestar jumping down from the helicopter with the with that terrible high five with the elbows. I was like corny, you know. But not for nothing, they came in there and they did help out. They did start doing their
hmm
thing, And what was your thoughts be on the whole fighting up there on those trucks?
I think it was interesting because it kind of seemed to me a lot of this episode was a callback to Civil War and the
Mhm.
idea of having multiple soldiers with the super serum, you
Mhm.
know, and how they were so scared of four highly trained assassins, and now you have six regular people who happen to have the super soldier serum, and they're getting their asses whooped. So it's interesting to see like that dynamic, change as it reminisces from that movie.
Mhm.
Because even though you have Bucky who has the serum in him of some sort, he's getting his butt beat by
Mhm.
three people who don't seem to me to be like soldiers, who may have formal training. I don't know the whole background, but they didn't seem like soldiers. So you see a situation like this where they're almost pedestrian, and you would think Bucky would at least handle better, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I thought that was very interesting. I thought that play off there, and when I call them the America crew. Yeah, you got the new Captain America and Battlestar. I thought that was so corny and so funny at the same time because like they came in like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and I was like, man, get out of here. Like they came in so 80s like I wasn't about it. I was like, get out of here, stop this. They're too
How about
excited to
you?
fight.
What'd you think
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
the whole truck action scene there, Al?
As, you're gonna laugh, but when I realized that they were all four, like that they had taken the soldier serum, it made me remember the they're called, the Incredibles, when the villain said, when everybody is super, nobody is. So I was like,
Yeah.
Bucky, his advantage is gone, because they all were super soldiers. So you got to see him, in essence, if he had to fight for regular people, and he was regular. So it put him on an even playing ground. And yeah, you're outnumbered 4-1. You're going to get your ass kicked. But to B's point, like, they don't show if these are just rebels, people with a mission, or if they're trained. I'm assuming they're trained because they were very coordinated with their plans and the way they seemed organized. So there's got to be some kind of military training there.
Right.
But to have them have to be saved by this new Captain America, even up to that point, I was kind of like, oh, maybe he's not that bad.
Right.
But then he comes in and he's saying the right thing. He's saying, like, yo, we need to work together. We need to come at this as a team and this and that. And like, you can, other than the animosity for, like, yo, you're wearing my man's clothes and you're carrying his shield. Like,
Yeah.
you take that reason for being pissed away, and everything he was saying was the right thing. Like,
Right.
he should have been on agreement. But to your point, then he crossed that line. He started saying, because he even said, he goes, I get it, the attitude. I get why you're upset and this and that.
Right.
But he showed himself at the end when he made that last line. He showed what his real motive was. He just wanted them on his side for optics.
Right. And
that
to
was
help
really all
him.
he wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, to help
Yeah.
him only, not for anything else, but to help him. Now, I have two questions from that scene for you guys, so just to kind of figure out your thoughts on these things. Al, what was your thoughts, man, when you see that Battlestar was being held and asking for help, and you see John Walker, our Captain America, take out a gun and shoot?
It seemed out of character for. That's what I'm saying. Like, it makes me wonder, like,
Yeah.
what was their criteria for this Captain America? Like,
Mm-hmm.
to use a gun. But then again, Captain America in the beginning used a gun. Like, when he first invaded, they show him storming a thing with a gun and a shield. So, like, is he at that stage where he's still learning? He doesn't know his abilities or what he's going to learn to be able to do. But it does. But from what you're expecting from Captain America, you're not expecting a gun in his hand.
Gotcha.
And then it's the way he shot the person, and that's why I was like, even with that, I was on the fence, because it didn't look like he shot to kill. It just looked like he shot to injure and in essence disarm the guy by shooting him, but not really trying to kill. Because I think he could have probably gotten the head if he wanted to do that.
Right.
So
I think, when I first saw the scene, I felt, oh shit, like, because you see him turn around, turn the gun sideways, and shoot off, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Steve wouldn't have done that.
Nah.
How about you, B man? What you think when you saw that happen? Did it just pass you by, or you was like, oh, whoa?
No, I think that scene was meant to be the clear distinction between Steve and John Walker. Where Steve embodied Captain America because that's just who he was,
Right.
whereas John Walker is portraying Captain America, but he's a soldier fighting.
Right. Gotcha, man. And then the second question I had you guys for this is, when Bucky goes into the trailer first, the first thing he says to Sam is, "Hey, it's vaccines and it's vaccines and something else. I forget. I forgot what he said. What the other word was. Yeah, medicine and vaccines." And when he said that, instead of it being ammunition or something violent, and I think about what they're supposed to be standing for, I'm wondering to myself, are we going to get tossed for a loop here that these guys are not bad guys? That maybe there's something else to these flag smashers where they're going to end up playing the good guys. It's just our perspective right now of what we're looking at. It makes them look like the bad guys because they robbed the bank last episode. They beat up the military guy at the last episode. This episode, they're fighting our good guys. But the trailer they have in there is vaccines and medicines. What about you, B? What you thinking on that, man? With the flag smashers?
I think, to be honest, it's something we don't fully understand yet. It seems like they're expanding on this story of life during the blip, before the blip, sorry. It seems like they're slowly expanding more on the knowledge of how people lived. And I think this group is going to just be a radical group that I can see where it looks like they're the bad guys and where they may be acting like the bad guys, but it may be for what they believe is a good cause that is maybe a better cause, you know. I think what's going to end up happening is, at one point that girl Callie received a text message, you know, and I think this is going to have to do with, I believe the power bank was referred to, power broker was referred to, and I think he's going to end up being this bad guy because he's been the one handing out the super soldier serum. And so I think this group is going to just be like a radical group that's trying to do good in a world that's different.
Gotcha, man. One world, one people. Now, Al, man, same for you. I mean, even the scene after the truck scene, they go to a hideout, and the person who takes them in says, you guys are blowing up. You guys are so big. You guys are becoming Robin Hood. And Robin Hood, again, he stole from the rich, but gave to the poor. So, I mean, I feel like we're being duped into thinking they're the bad guys, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be the same thing. Like, because of how they do everything, they're being portrayed and painted as the bad guy. But if you look at their goals and objectives, is it really bad? Yeah, you may hate how they're going about it, but in reality, if they're really stealing vaccines and medicine, I doubt there's, they didn't seem like they were doing it to sell it and make money. It looked like they were going to probably take it to places that it was needed, because from the way it sounds, things are being and you hear this nowadays when people talk about overpopulation, like, oh, we have to lower the population count because resources are getting thin. For 5 years, you had half the population gone, but it sounds like when they came back, like as if there was scarcity. I don't understand. So for 5 years, you had half the population gone. When they came back, how were resources scarce? There should have been an abundance, since you had the ability to produce for twice as many people that weren't there for 5 years. Right. So it just makes me wonder what dynamic globally got created. Are there, to the point of the power broker, are there people in power that started hoarding these resources? And that's what we're going to find out. And so that their goal wasn't really self-interest, but to get these resources back to the people, because these countries, now that they're back in, okay, we're the United States, you're China, this is South America. It's to get these resources back to everybody globally. Let's stop fighting over who's who from where. We're all, like they said, we're all one people. So it'll be interesting to see if they turn around to be a coherent, another group to help against the power broker at the end of the show.
Gotcha, man. Yeah, it's real interesting stuff, man, because I it's funny. This show is making me think more and more that this blip thing is a lot bigger than what we just assumed it was, just people going away. You have people who went away, and besides, like you saw Sam Wilson and his sister, they're dealing with money issues because Sam wasn't there for 5 years to gain income or whatever. But you also have to imagine people that had jobs that disappeared. Those jobs are either replaced or taken away. You just come back. You just can't go back to that job you had. It's 5 years later. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's a lot more issues that are deeper there that I think. And like, I think Al said it one time when we were talking about the 5-year blip that, some people may have moved on and married somebody else or are with someone else, live somewhere else. And then 5 years later, you're like, oh, and to those people, nothing changed. It was 5 minutes, not even, So just crazy when you think about all the stuff that could have happened because of that blip, man. Thanos was wrong. It's not better, Thanos.
No.
But let's get to the next scene here now, because what happens here is, because they figure that they're fighting 8 super soldiers there with the team from the Flag Smashers, which again they didn't talk about, John Walker or Battlestar being enhanced in any certain way. They have this conversation as they're going away from the 2 guys there, Battlestar and the new Cap. And they're talking about figuring out where the serum is coming from, because clearly they're super soldiers, so they're getting the serum from somewhere. And Bucky
Mhm.
says, you know what? I know someone we can go visit or someone we can talk to about it. And they end up in Baltimore. And in Baltimore, they're going after to see if there's this new person that we've never heard of, if this guy will talk to him. And we get this scene, which I think was very, very powerful, very, very big, and they're talking to, I believe it's Isaiah Bradley is the name of the character.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
apparently he was either, I'm not sure if I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, was he the first soldier that they tested before Captain America, or while Cap was on ice, they tested it on him?
While he was on ice.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, apparently there's some program going on where after Cap died, where they thought Cap died, but he was under ice. They didn't know that they must have
Mhm.
tested super soldier serum on African Americans or
Yeah.
black people in our country here, or I mean, at least that's what the comic books say, is that's what happened.
Mhm.
But it looks like that this guy Isaiah Bradley actually took on the super soldier serum, and it worked on him, and they used him to fight other people. Because even Falcon asked Bucky, "How do you know him?" He goes, "I fought him in the Korean War," you know.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting, this story, man. And Al, man, go for it, man. What did they tell us more about this guy?
Not only was he a Captain America, and you know what, and even before they walk into it, like they touched on it, because I was about to call him that. He was the Black Captain America, and it was just, they touched on something that you see in a lot of stuff, like only when they're dealing with a minority representation of a character does that person's race or background become the descriptor of his character.
Right.
So he was the Black Captain America, and before they go into his home, the kid goes, "Hey, it's the Black Falcon," and he goes, "No, it's just Falcon." And he goes, "No, my dad said you the Black Falcon." And he goes, "What? Because I'm black and I'm the Falcon?" So he goes, "What are you, a black kid?" So it just, and that's what I'm saying. Like, they are touching on a lot of stuff in this show, and I like the way they are touching it. Like, they're not overdoing it, but they're doing it in a way that shows you how it's present in our society. So, so he was a black, Captain America. He was one of these men that they were testing it on against their will, just because they, at the time, they could, so to speak. And even when with everything he did, he tells you, in that scene, you find out that after he did everything he did for the country, and was a lab rat, let the test on him, they still weren't done with him. They put him in jail for 30 years. They continued to test on him and draw on him like he was a lab rat. And at the end of everything he did, look at how he was living. He wasn't living a life of, and in a way, that to me touches on other stuff. Like, how do we treat our soldiers when they come back? Like, do we make sure that they're given the resources and the livelihood that they deserve as men and women who put their lives on the line?
Absolutely.
So, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that was what, a 10-minute clip, and it touches on so many sensitive subjects just by throwing in a couple of lines, but doing it in smart ways. So it's, and I think we talked about it before with Martin Scorsese, like, oh, this isn't cinema. Listen, it's touching on subjects that even cinema movies and shows deal with. So,
Right.
not to say this is on that level, but I like the way they're handling, especially sensitive subjects in this show and so far in these series.
Yeah, man. And B, I mean, that scene alone was very powerful. That 10 minutes of being in that man's apartment was uncomfortable for me, just to sit there and watch and hear his story. And the way I'm not sure who the actor is, but I know that the character name is Isaiah Bradley. When he took that tin box and threw it against the wall and it got stuck in there, I was like, oh shit. Oh shit, man. He got super strength. I mean, how'd that scene hit you off, Brandon?
That scene was awesome because it allowed you to see an area of the Marvel universe that you don't get, and especially like they touch on the comic books, like he was the Black Captain America, for a time in the comic books, and he was treated the exact same way. He was thrown in prison, and everything like that. That story is ripped straight from the comic book, which I'm really happy they put in there. And it really kind of got my gears turning on the reason why Falcon won't take the mantle, why he didn't take up the mantle, especially to hear how this supposed Black Captain America was treated because of the mantle he took up. And even though nobody knew other than the military, but to see how a Black Captain America was treated because of who he was, I think that furthered in Falcon's mind, even to see his reaction after they had left the house, it furthered in his mind why he shouldn't be taking up the mantle. This is what I would have gone through if I had taken that mantle up. This is what people would have done to me, how I would have been treated. So I'm starting to see the gears turn on that more, especially as he explodes on Bucky after they leave. He says, how come no one ever told me there was a Black Captain America running around, blah, blah, blah. He was furious, so much so the police showed up, and that was a whole thing there, just to see how the police officers treated him in that scene,
Right. They didn't know it was Falcon or Sam at first.
Mm-hmm.
So like, to have all of that in one scene, the escalation to the kind of the ending of the scene, all be the same matter. I thought that was pretty incredible.
Yeah, man. I mean, they touched on, like Al said it, best itself right there, was just they touched on a lot of sensitive topics that are relevant today, with the police, with the way that the government handles things, the way that we handle soldiers. Forget just, the ethnicity of the person, the soldier himself, how we treat them. And then you put into the ethnicity part of it, whether it's a Black person or someone that is not white, how they're treated and how they're respected in this country. The one thing that I keep remembering from the first episode was he was walking around in Tunisia, I believe it was, and somebody said, "Hey, Falcon, or the Avengers, thank you for saving my my wife,"
Yeah.
And then over here, it took them a while to realize who he was. You know what I mean? Like, you got that scene with the police officer asking Bucky if this man is bothering you. And I'm like, holy shit.
And
And of
bank,
course, yeah. And at the bank, the guy's like, are you a LSU football player? You know what I mean? Like, it's touching sensitive topics, but it's doing it in a mainstream way, in a way that, I think anyone can watch and appreciate and say, wow, that's crazy, or I appreciate them doing that and showing that. And, it's pretty good stuff there. The thing that I find funny about that one scene, if you can find something funny in that scene, is they arrested Bucky. So
and they were like hesitant about that, like, you got a warrant out for your arrest. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you missed your psyche eval as part of your parole there, sir.
Man.
They said, I'm sorry.
And it was kind of crazy, man. It kind of cut the tension a little bit there. And we get, Falcon going to the precinct to go get Buck. And we find the psychiatrist from the first episode coming into the building. And she's on a first name basis with the new Cap. She goes Christine to her, like, so they're on a first name basis, and apparently they've done some kind of missions together in the past, or they've worked together. And I guess it's a conditional part of Bucky's release is for him to have a psych eval before he leaves. So we have finally the psych eval happening, but Falcon tried to get out of it, but she's like, oh no, you're part of this too, let's go.
Yeah.
And dude, I have not laughed that hard when they sat like in between each other to do the what was it, the love stare or the love gaze?
Yeah.
And Falcon goes, "Oh, he's gonna love this one." And he's like, "Yeah, I am gonna love it."
Yeah.
Because he's been staring at him the whole entire episode. And dude, when they said to get close, where they put their legs
the
between
cross legs.
each other. And he's like, "Is this pretty close? Is this close?" He's like, "This is pretty close." The faces that they were making and how they were saying it, dude, perfect. I loved it, man. But we get the heartstring pulls there, Al, man. We find out what really is grinding Buck's gears there, man.
Yeah.
And he hurts your heart with that, man.
Yeah, kid. Until he said it, I didn't realize why he was so adamant about. Like, I just thought it was that, like, out of respect. Like, yo, he gave you the shield, and you're not taking it. What's up? Like, why? Like, I thought it was more of concern that, yo, you didn't take it, and Steve gave it to you.
Right.
Like, I thought it was just a respect. And it wasn't until he said it that I'm like, oh shit, that's right. He fought there was a whole movie dedicated towards Steve trying to save his friend. because he still remembered who his friend was underneath the Winter Soldier facade, and that he was worth saving and he deserved saving. So it was like, wow,
It was
the,
deep.
yeah, kid. It wasn't
Yeah.
until he actually said it that I was like, oh, okay, shit, yeah, I can understand why he wants him to live up to what Steve saw in him, because if he's wrong about him, then he's wrong. He might be wrong about me, and everything. All his self doubts now would be coming to the surface.
Absolutely,
That's
man.
what I'm saying, kid. Like, yo, if this isn't cinema, okay, fine, it's not cinema, but it's damn close.
It's damn close, right? And B, I mean, can you feel Sam on this one, Brandon? He goes, maybe you and maybe Cap wouldn't understand, but can you get that I thought that this was the right thing to do?
You know that I like that these episodes begin with a summary of, like kind of a recap of the things that are going to be brought up in this episode. And they brought it back to Endgame and they did this in the first episode too, when he gave him the shield. He goes, oh, I felt, I thought it looks like it belongs to somebody else. Like you can see in that scene alone the hesitation from Falcon to want to receive that shield, because he knows what the shield represents, and to have that come back into the foray in that scene, was kind of a lot. It was really deep, because you can pass. This Dawn's home. To have that like happen there, it was really deep, because like, you want to feel for the guy, especially the way the episode like pans out for Sam. Like you start to see the reasons why he would be so hesitant in having that moniker, and it just comes to a boiling point where he doesn't want to have to say it. He just wants you to understand.
Right. Understand that this is just a choice that he's making because he feels that's what should be done.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of pleasing Cap. It's not a matter of pleasing Buck. He feels that this is what he should do, and he'll be damned if someone tells him it's not the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Still think he was wrong though. He should have took the shield, but
yeah.
So
he's gonna.
Yeah, I hope so, man. Yeah, I hope so, because now they said thanks, Doc, for making it weird. I love it, man. I love it. And they make the agreement that once they finish this whatever's going on, and they get to the bottom of it, they agree to go their separate ways to make sure they don't run into each other again. I hope that never happens, but they get out of the precinct, and of course, who's waiting for them? Oh, it's Battlestar and the new Captain Dix.
Captain Dickbag.
And they make a point. They're saying that we should get to the bottom of this. We know we're following the trail of the Flag Smashers. They think they know where they're headed. And Falcon makes the point that, look, you guys are government. You guys have to follow a set of rules. You have to set guidelines. They are free agents. They could do kind of what they want as long as they don't get caught. You know what I mean? So it made sense for them to go their separate ways. And this is where we get our callback to, what's going to be happening in the next episode. There is, Bucky's telling Sam, listen, we have to get to the bottom of the super soldier thing. Isaiah Bradley doesn't want him to know anything. And he goes, there's only one person who knows everything that Hydra was up to. And Sam's like, I'm not going to let you do this alone. Let's go see Zemo. Pan shot to Zemo in jail, and Zemo lifting his head up. Perfect. Perfect end to the episode with the music going on in the background, man.
Yeah.
Brandon, where are we going with Zemo? What's your thoughts?
I don't want to say, because I said something last week and I was wrong. So I'm just not gonna say. I'm gonna find out on Friday where we're going with Zemo. I was like, oh, he blipped out of the cage. Wrong. I'm not gonna speak no more.
Man, how about you, man? Zemo's coming next week, man.
Yeah, same thing. I'm not going to say nothing. Like the only thing I would say about the comment was I would have preferred if they didn't say his name. I would have preferred if the scene played out with he was like, "Yo, we got to talk." Only one person knows all the Hydra secrets, and if Sam had said, "I'm not letting you go talk to him by yourself," and then they don't say the name, they just then pan over to Zemo and let us see who they were talking about. I thought that would have had more an impact. But
Yeah.
to your point, if they're bringing him in on their side, is he gonna be like the bad guy who's, like the comedic part of this, helping them get to the power broker? Like, and is he gonna be like on their side, and then at the end he double, plays them, and then now that's how he becomes the villain for season 2? Like, but again, like Brandon said, I'm just gonna wait till the next episode.
Absolutely, man.
Let them play this out and see how they let it go, instead of guessing and then be like, "Damn, I'm wrong again." Shit, I'm 2 for 10.
My one hope is that for the Winter Soldier, Bucky sits down next to Zemo, and Zemo goes, "Freight car, homecoming." I forgot the other words, but I know those two.
Yeah.
I know freight car and homecoming was one of the words there.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool, and then he can look back and say, "Yo, that don't work no more."
Right,
yeah.
that'd be awesome, man. But yeah, man, we're looking forward to next week's episode. This week was absolutely incredible and crazy. Also, I think we're gonna see, because if I remember correctly, before they got away, the Flag Smashers, there was like a little powwow between the members, and they were saying like, listen, you're with the team now or you're not, because after tomorrow it's gonna be on from here on out. So I'm like, what's happening tomorrow? And I have to wait a week.
Yeah.
so we'll see, man. We got Zemo, we got the Flag Smashers little plan happening next week. There's probably a hint of Sharon Carter possibly next week, or at the end of next week, most likely. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll be back here next week to talk about that episode 3. And listen, if you guys are watching online on YouTube, or you're listening to us on a podcast there, send us an email, send us a comment on the YouTube there. What was your thoughts of this episode? I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Not trying to compare it to WandaVision or anything else like that, but I just thought that this episode was just great, man. This was just good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. And then the last thing we'll talk about, guys, again, the big thing for this week is HBO Max releasing Godzilla versus Kong, which is going to be absolutely incredible as far as just the fighting. I don't know about the story itself, because if you saw Godzilla Part 1, which is in 2014 Godzilla, then you have Kong Skull Island with Samuel L. Jackson, and also what's his name? Jack Black, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in
play one of the scientists.
Yeah. And then you also have one of the stepbrothers up in there. He was into the Kong Skull Island. We also
who was also in there? It was
Tom Hiddleston.
Brie
Larson and
Hiddleston. Yeah.
So that's Kong Skull Island. And then we have King of the Monsters, which was the last one that came out about a year or two ago. That wasn't so great. Now, the thing with all three of them, they had some good looking VFX, the good looking fights. The first one, the Godzilla, they kept, every time Godzilla was about to do something, they cut to another scene, which was crazy. But I'll never forget him taking the monster open and that was insane, and Kong looking at Samuel L. Jackson with his 2 big eyes, that was insane. And King of the Monsters, some of the fights in there was just incredible. So are you guys like still, I remember, I think Brandon said he has King Kong on this one, Brandon?
I got Godzilla.
You got Godzilla. Al, you have King Kong.
No, I had Godzilla too.
You have Godzilla too? All right.
I think it was you and Sanj with King Kong.
Yeah, man, that's a bad man right there. I think he had a battle axe. He's gonna go for the head also. Everybody learned their lessons from Infinity War. But
Kong's got an axe. That's not fair.
I know we didn't have the time to do a prep this week for Godzilla versus Kong, but just want to know, is there anything that stands out to you from those movies? I know one of the big standouts for me was always going to be the Godzilla, the first one, 2014, when the character goes, "Let them fight." That was always awesome, man. Al, any of those things sticks out to you from those 3 movies?
Just that in each one of them, in the two Godzillas and in Kong, they become the good guy. The only one who really was like the bad guy through was kind of Kong because he was fighting the soldiers.
Mhm.
But in reality, like they were the hero of the movie. So how do you decide which one to make the bad guy? Because there's got to be one that
Mhm.
you're rooting for in the movie, you know, and there's going to be the one that wins. So like, how do you decide who's the bad guy? That'll
Yeah.
be, you know, so or how did they decide? Because it seems like they decided that Kong is the good guy because they're using him to fight Godzilla.
Right.
So, you know, meanwhile, Godzilla just helped you destroy all those other monsters in the last movie. So,
Right.
yeah, kid. So it's just that, just to see the story and how, because like you said, the fight scenes are going to probably be ridiculous, especially with these two characters. So
Uh-huh.
it'll just be to see what story they come up with and how much of the story it actually plays out.
Gotcha, man. Brandon, man, anything stands out to you from the Godzilla movies and the Kong movies?
Yes, there's nothing more badass than the clear shot of Godzilla just standing there looking like he's about to fuck somebody up. It's the best part of every Godzilla movie. Just that clear pan where he's just like this in the background. Like, oh, it's about to happen. He's about to fuck somebody up.
You know
my
what's
favorite
also
part of the whole-
another memorable scene from Godzilla 2014 that I had never forgotten is when the skydivers came out of the plane with the red smoke and they were circling
Yeah.
down. Oh, dude, some great shots in that one, man. I can't wait to watch that tonight. Godzilla 2014, featuring WandaVision and the original Quicksilver. There you go. Yeah, guys. So listen, that's going to be our show for this week. We'll be back to you next week with a review for Godzilla versus Kong. Give you a review for episode 3 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's going to be a great time. Come back. If you are not a subscriber, hit that little subscribe button below. If you're on a podcasting site or you're listening through your podcasting abilities on your phone there, make sure you hit the plus symbol to get us there every week to be on your playlist. And guys, we thank you. So coming in from Long Island, New York, we got my brother B.
Adios.
We got our man of the chair, Al.
Have a good night, everybody.
And myself, Hob, saying thank you as always, guys. Thank you so much for listening. And again, Kong versus Godzilla. Who do you got? Who is your man for this fight this week? We'll find out next week who wins. Sayonara till next time.